Good evening, young Padawans and Padawans. It is I, JT the Redneck, and we are back once again on your Monday night. Why? Because two Ewoks in the Park is here to review a very, very important season in the Mandalorian drama. Oh, is there drama, let me tell you. Do me a favor, grab your favorite adult beverage or something to drink, something to munch on, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show with me and Sully. Sully, it's all yours.
Oh, I thank you, sir. Hello, everybody, and
You're
welcome to Two Ewoks in the Park. Not Avenger Pretenders like it shows up on the screen. And yes, it's good stuff that way. Yay, good stuff. We like good stuff. It's awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. And, oh, wow. Yeah.
You talk about a big drama mama. Holy shit.
That was interesting, to say the least, when it comes to The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I mean, at one point at the end of the episode, I kind of looked at Kay and pulled an Urkel, but I changed the wording. I said, "Did they do that?"
Well, apparently they did. Yes, they did.
And I've been saying all season that this season of Mandalorian has just been getting better and better and better and better with every episode.
Yeah.
And I was finding it hard for them to really be able to beat, let alone beat, but blow away the last two episodes or the last two seasons. Dude, they blew them out of the water.
Especially with this last episode.
I'm telling you, and I mean, we have to like adjust our rating system because this episode was on a whole new level above the first six.
Yes.
I mean, they took it from here to here.
Yes.
You know, it's like, holy shit.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah, do your thing, man. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the ride. Holy crap, man.
Yes. 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 And for those that don't know what I mean, we're going to get into it because, oh my Lord, Chapter 23 was titled Spies. So clearly, spoiler alert, folks. We got one episode left, by the way. Only one. One episode left. And, oh boy. I hope it's at least 45 minutes long. Or close to an hour. I'm okay with that. I have a feeling it's only going to be about 30 minutes, but wow. Just wow. Because we start this off with the title alone, The Spies.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
what can you say? I mean, just the title alone makes you go, oh, shit.
And I was right. I was right. I was right. I was right from the beginning. I was right. Just painting a picture, folks. I was right. And if you don't know what I mean by that, the episode starts off where we're on Coruscant. We're on Coruscant. Yay, we're back to Coruscant.
Yay.
Kudos for bringing back the capital of the Republic, the new Republic, and how much disarray it really is in that we don't realize. But at the same time, you kind of have to understand that this is 5 years. Well, this is probably probably 7 years now, right? After Return of the Jedi. Yeah. So
somewhere around there.
The New Republic is still in its infancy, if you think about it.
And we don't see much behind the scenes stuff of the upper level.
No, we really don't. So it gets very interesting when it comes to this sort of thing. And the only reason why I say that is because in the long run, certain characters that have already made their appearance are showing just how right I was where I could write this stuff. And as Lady Death put it, that little two-faced nitwit, she needs her ass kicked. Yes.
And I've been saying it all along ever since she was introduced in the episode. There's something about her. I do not trust her. There's something going on. I want to say hi to Western Echo, Lady Death, and Carol, who are all hanging out in the chat room with us.
What's up? What's up? It's fantastic. But yes, Elia Kane, she's back and she's walking through the streets. And as Western Echo put, yes, we kind of did that joke already. But we'll get into it even more. So we see that she goes through like this checkpoint type thing down an alley, and out of nowhere we see an Imperial probe droid flying on down, and it scans her, and she says that her number is TK2755, which is her Imperial Communications Officer number. That's her ID. And a hollow projection of Moff Gideon comes out. I will say this, the fact that the hollow projections are getting more advanced as we go through, from Star Wars to now.
Yep.
It's pretty cool the way they're doing things. There's a lot more detail and everything. But the entire time Moff Gideon is talking to her, we knew he had escaped. A shuttle had Mandalorian armor in it, so we knew about that. And it was only a matter of time before he resurfaced. So, for me, because he, resurfaced the way he did, I just can't get my camera right. It's so weird. Anyway, Kane tells him about Navarro. And it turns out that Gideon was behind the attack from the pirates all along. Great way to tie the two together. But what he didn't know was that Bo-Katan and Din Djarin led a team of Mandalorians to kick the living shit out of pirates. Makes sense, right?
Would to me.
I mean, it's got to make sense, because if it doesn't, then we got even more issues going on than we thought.
Well, we got issues, but
yes, that is true. We do have issues, but we kind of want to keep those issues, to a
ourselves.
minimum, so to speak. We want to keep it to a minimum, all right? I'm just saying.
Yes, I agree.
Saying. So that's what we're currently seeing, is that Kane is telling him that Karga was aided by the Mandalorians, and that Bo-Katan led the charge along with Din Djarin and the rest of them, and his covert, which we all know that the covert is Grogu. We know that. We know he's the covert. Din Djarin's covert, anyway. And he's like, you could see Moff Gideon was a little shocked about that. Like, wait, what?
Well, I mean, his first reaction was, well, you said that they weren't a problem anymore.
Yes.
What the hell?
You lied to me. A problem. What is going on? Well, it turns out that at the same time, we are now, once he stops talking to Kane, he's walking down a rock hallway, like he's in a cave or something. And at first I didn't put two and two together. But as things were going along and he was walking through, I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. He keeps mentioning the fall of Mandalore. So I had a little bit of an inkling that maybe, which we'll reveal in a minute, something was going on down there. Maybe, just a little bit.
Well, I mean, it would make sense to think that there was something going on just in the fact that they went and rescued Moff Gideon. That right there should tell you that, if they want to go through the effort, because, I mean, it's not like it was a simple thing to do. So if they put forth the effort to rescue him,
right.
They had to rescue him for a reason. And what was that reason other than the fact that, he's Moff Gideon?
Right.
But there's got to be more to it than that.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Which,
I mean,
you kind of put two and two together of something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So he hangs up with Kane and he walks down these hallways and he gets into this room and we've got the Shadow Council. Ooh, the Shadow Council.
One thing I got to say is as he's walking down that hallway and the different shields that opened and that was cool. And I'm sitting there looking at the uniforms that the troopers were wearing, and I'm like, haven't seen those before.
Yeah, like those are new.
Those are new. That's unique.
And then you're like, what's he doing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was my biggest take on it of, okay, well, what is he doing now that all those stormtroopers look the way they do,
Right.
And it's more and more is kind of going in through my head about it, and I'm saying to myself, he's somewhere that obviously has been off the map, but is tying to this. So this brings us back to the whole, well, was Mandalore already, inhabitable because of what was said? Now, they're talking and talking and talking. This is happening. This is happening. They bring up the Mandalorians and Din Djarin and how they, they helped out with certain things. We see we see
who's this general that they keep talking about?
You mean
in the beginning of the exchange with the one guy that says, upon his return, and they've been talking about it for so long, where the hell is the guy?
I am
it basically
so
is
glad.
What Darth Maul says.
I'm so glad you asked.
You're welcome.
General
and no,
Admiral
folks, that was not
Thrawn.
staged.
General Admiral Thrawn.
Yes. Who is that?
He is a former admiral of the Empire, or in this case, still an admiral of the Empire. While he was in the Empire, he was the thorn in the side of the cast of Star Wars Rebels. Okay? He's the ultimate bad guy. He was the one planning things and trying to stop the rebellion from raising up and all that good stuff. Okay? That man is probably one of the worst, and I don't mean that like military or strategically, one of the worst adversaries that you could probably go up against, next to the Emperor. He is not a Jedi. He is not a Sith. But he is
He's just
brutal.
one mean son of a bitch.
Yeah. He is brutal.
Okay. So you could kind of compare that, as a comparison for those who might not be able to picture it in their heads. You could kind of say that this guy is like one of the worst SS guards or SS members from back during World War II.
Yes.
There you go. Because they were the worst.
So he is the guy that they were banking on to have the Empire basically come back into power. And that's why Moff Gideon is like, well, where is he? Why hasn't he revealed himself? Where is he? You know, we keep saying Admiral Thrawn this and Admiral Thrawn that. All his plans are coming to fruition. But at the same time, he still hasn't shown his face.
Well, and that was an interesting line that the guy made. And that was, you know, because he made the, you know, Moff Gideon says, you know, I hear whispers from one end of the universe to the other. And I've never has anything been said about him. You know as well as I do.
Yes.
There's always rumors of something going on. So you would think that even though the Empire is supposedly destroyed and there's little factions and all that good crap, but you would think there would still be some kind of a whisper of, hey, he's coming back. He might come back. Or, you know, somebody found him. Or you would think there would be some kind of chatter. Even if it was very minimal, you would still think there would be some kind of chatter. So I'm wondering, I have to wonder myself, from this conversation and exchange of, just like Moff Gideon, is he real? Is he really alive? Or are you just trying to, you know, blow enough smoke up my ass that I can't see what you're trying to do behind my back?
So I can tell you he's alive.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying that's what came into my head. Because the two people, the two people that this exchange is mainly with are the people who have all the ships and all the supplies and all the strength and all the power and everything else. Because Moff Gideon actually has to go to them to request the reinforcements and the special guard.
Yes.
So, you know, I can kind of see where he's got, you know, if it's not true, let's blow it out of the water and let's get this shit done.
But you have to remember,
you know,
season 2, when Ahsoka was around, she was on the search for Admiral Thrawn.
Right.
And that battle that she had at the end of her episode was, where's Admiral Thrawn? That's what she asked. So we can tell that Admiral Thrawn will be in Ahsoka. I can tell you he's most likely not in The Mandalorian, unless they keep it as a very good secret for the end of Wednesday's episode, which is the season finale. Will that happen?
Man.
I don't know. But maybe we'll see like a shadow of him, maybe. Not 100% sure.
I mean,
there is footage.
I cannot wait to see this episode, but at the same time, I don't want to see this episode.
I know, because it's going to end, and we don't want that. We don't want that. But
we don't want it to end.
But the interesting thing is, they bring up a younger version of General Hux. And if you don't know who General Hux is, he was in the latest trilogy. He's one of the I don't think he was a general at this time, was he?
Oh no.
Oh no, that's right. Okay. So they bring up General Hux, but he's not part of the council. It gives them time for Project Necromancer, which Hux just kind of gives like a smile, and yeah, we just know that that's another project that's going on. And if I remember correctly, and I'm trying to confirm this, pretty sure he was part of the First Order too. Yeah, he was part of the First Order. He was the redhead in the First Order. So he was older and all that good stuff. So we see a younger General Hux here. And they finally get to the point of, all right, I'm done. I've had it. Let's move on with this, because let's face it, we need to make sure that if Admiral Thrawn's going to do it, I'm going to do it before him. Simple as that.
So So real quick, Echo's home,
Yay!
and to prove that he was home, he said yes, 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 yes. But then he made comment. He says, "Wasn't there a rumor that Benedict Cumberbatch was going to play Thrawn?"
There was a rumor that, yes, he may potentially play Admiral Thrawn. However, as announced at Star Wars Celebration in England last week, he is not.
Aw, bummer.
As a matter of fact, the person that will be playing Admiral Thrawn in Ahsoka will be the one and only person to have voiced Admiral Thrawn in Star Wars Rebels, Lars Michelson. So he's reprising his role, which means this is gonna be awesome.
I think it's neat that they do that they actually pull the actual person in, if they can, to play the character that they voiced.
So
I think it's really cool that they do that.
So far, yes, it's cool, but they didn't do that with Ahsoka.
Yeah, we heard them bitching all about that during that when we talked about that during Ahsoka.
And don't get me wrong, Rosario Dawson is amazing as Ahsoka. She really is. She is amazing no matter what. But Ashley Eckstein, who also did the voice of Ahsoka for not just the Clone Wars, but for Rebels also, and she also had her voice in the last The Rise of Skywalker, where Rey was like, "Hey, I'm all the Jedi. You can hear, get up, Rey, use the Force," and so on and so forth. So it was pretty cool that they had her pretty much as canon for that. And then
Echo says, "I was hoping it would be Rick Moranis."
No, that is Lord Helmet. That is Lord Helmet. So from there, we cut down. We're back on Navarro, and we see that two worlds are pretty much colliding together. The Mandalorians and Navarro are there. The ships are coming through. Bo-Katan has united both the clans, and yeah, we've got some interesting things going on. Like, no, these people are more than welcome here, and they were.
Yeah, it was neat how, being realistic about things, as the Imperial cruiser came flying, cruising over their city, the residents were like, "What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh shit, what's going on?" And we thought they were gone,
going
kind of thing.
on here,
And even the robots like, "It's an Imperial cruiser. According to my computer records, it's an Imperial ship." And he's like, "No, look at the emblem." And even I didn't notice the emblem first time around. But they had the big Mandalorian emblem,
the Mythosaur,
on the Mythosaur on the bottom of the ship. And Kay and I had a little side conversation about that, wondering just how many gallons of freaking paint
that's a lot of paint
it took to paint that thing.
A lot of paint.
Couple thousand gallons, probably.
A lot of paint, But Grief Karga goes, no, they're here. It's good. I'm glad they're here. They got some good guns, man. And from there, the armorer emerges from her tent with the members of her clan, and you can kind of see that there's a little animosity between the two. And we know this.
Just a little bit.
We know this.
Well,
we know this because of the history.
Right. Bo-Katan Kryze, as she's coming into land, even talks about that to Din Djarin. About, she's worried about how this is going to mesh, because these two clans can't stand each other. They've never met. All they know is what they've been told.
Right.
And, it's not been nothing but bad on both sides. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works, And the confrontation at the very beginning was very, very tense. And she she broke the tenseness by clanging her tools together.
Yes, and did a very good job. So
Mm-hmm.
the armorer says, welcome, welcome. They all removed their helmets except for the ones who didn't. But they went on to explain, no, we are Mandalorians. It is time for us to be Mandalorians. It shouldn't matter whether we remove our helmets or not. And it shouldn't.
Right.
So
Right.
from there,
invited them to make camp.
Yeah.
And they made a big feast.
Yeah. Let's celebrate, And at the same time, Karga comes over and is like, wow, this is a pretty good fleet. I'm surprised you brought them all together. This is amazing. But I got something for you. Come.
You and guess where it came from.
Yeah, you and Grogu got to come over here, So they do. They go over and they... This was great. And this is where our yes little joke happened earlier, as well as Western Echoes.
Yes.
So they're in Karga's office, and they bring in the former IG-11 unit. And they
now known as
IG-12. And the reason he's known as IG-12 is because they pulled out his memory circuits. So he's no longer a bounty hunter. He's no longer a droid, with free will anyway. But they did make it a little more interesting because they made it something for Grogu to control.
They made a little remote control.
Come on, let him have some fun with this. Come on. But not only
just like playing a video game.
Yeah, not only can he control it, but he can also say two-letter word, two-letter, two words, yes and no. So far, you just hit a button, no, hit a button, yes. As Western Echo goes, yes. And Din Djarin is very hesitant about this. He's like, no, you know what? He's a little too young for this. And Grogu away, no.
So Din Djarin's like, no what?
No. A hysterical moment because it was the perfect father-son. No, I told you no. Doesn't matter. And he pushes him away and starts walking around the room. He's like, come on, just let him try it out.
He goes to take him out and Grogu's like,
pushes him away, and does what he needs
hand
to
to
do.
the face.
Which is perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine.
He may be 50 years old, but he's still a kid in their culture.
Yes.
So his motions and reactions and the way that he's doing things is dead on. I mean, it's spot on.
Whoa, hands down. Yes, he's a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's got a new toy to play with. So the first thing that Din Djarin's like, I'm really not comfortable with this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it gets worse.
It does get worse because now they're walking through town and Grogu sees food, starts heading toward the food. Yes. Grabs it and just starts eating the food. Grogu, you got to pay for that. No.
I don't want to.
I just want to eat. Grogu needs food. He needs food. That thing, as tiny as he is, I feel that they're not feeding him properly. Because he just gravitates to food all the time.
He's a kid.
Yeah.
Tell me a kid who doesn't want to eat.
But you never saw Yoda eat like that.
You never saw Yoda as a kid.
That's true. You never did. That is true.
I mean, we may be, 200 years into the future, but a kid's going to be a kid, and a kid wants to do one thing, and that's eat.
He wants food.
The guy was dying laughing. It was hilarious.
So from there, Din Djarin pays for the food, and they go back and they they Weston Echo makes a very good point. He laughed so hard he couldn't wait to message me on Facebook with yes, 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 and I hadn't seen the episode yet. So when he said yes, I said it's a good 3-letter word. That's all I said. Because, you know, I wait until at night. I have to. I wait till at night to watch it. But I thought it was hysterical because those were the only 2 words that he was able to say, yes and no. So at least he's still communicating. And
Nakaya put a post up, and all it said was yes, 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 yes. But it said that she was watching Mandalorian. So I'm like, and we hadn't watched it yet. I'm like, okay, what the hell is that all about?
yeah, I ignore a lot of social media just because people capture the video and they post it, or you know, they put reviews up or whatever, and I try to stay away from it because I don't want it ruined. Like, I can't watch it when everybody else is watching it. And if Christy's watching it with me, I don't want to watch it without her. You know, I want to be just as surprised. So, so from there, you know, we get to the feast that they're having of, hey, by the way, we're going to go retake Mandalore. You're all invited to come with us. We need your help to do it. And Bo-Katan says, you know, we're going to retake the homeworld, and we have to kind of be vigilant because the Alamites were dormant, now are all over the place, you know. So from there, a lot of them are very hesitant, and the armorer even says, no, we need to retake the Great Forge. We need to make sure that the Great Forge is intact, it's up and running, so on and so forth. And we need to do what we need to do in order to retake Mandalore. Without the Great Forge, we're nothing. So, you know, they say, you know, we need a recon party. Once it's safe, everybody can come and join us. And Din Djarin says he's going to go with them. Paz Vizsla says he's up for it. The armor says, hey, I'm all for it. Costa Reeves and Axe Wolves is up for it too. So you've got all these Mandalorians on both sides saying...
Well, and that was something very specific that Bo-Katan said.
Yeah.
Was that we need a scouting party so that way, you know, we go down, secure an area, and, you know, make a security zone, and then the others can come join us on the surface.
Yeah.
Because she wants to take everybody and go into orbit basically over Mandalore.
Right.
But she's very specific. We need people from both sides, from both clans to do this. And it's just, if you ever spend any time in the military, you know, you never volunteer in the military.
Yep.
You just don't do it. Well, you're not supposed to. You know, that's the saying. So it took Din Djarin taking the first step, and then the machine gun guy, I can never remember his name, the machine gun guy, you know, Din Djarin got up and said, I will go. Yep. And then the machine gun guy stood up and said, I will go. And then one of the, you know, and that's what got it going, which is real, I mean, very, very realistic too. In today times, trying to get people to volunteer to do something, especially if it's something dangerous.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
you know. So
and in this case, you know, once everybody says, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna do it," now the next day they get to Mandalore. The entire fleet leaves Navarro, which leaves Navarro unprotected right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine High Magistrate is very happy about what just transpired.
Well, true, you know, but at the same time, he really can't tell them to stay. You know, it was, I would say that it was an undeclared, you know, kind of thing between the Mandalore and the High Magistrate and his people, that they were kind of, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with the other ones where they were there, you know. Well, the other thing you got to remember
unofficial security force,
yeah,
I guess you could say.
But the other thing you got to remember is when it comes to Navarro, they're welcome there. And even Grief Karga said to them, until you can retake your home world, you always have a place here, which is
Very
perfect
true.
for
Yeah,
them.
I forgot about that.
They always have a place there. So,
if I was him, I would still be a little bit pissed off. Like, come on, dude, you took everybody. You couldn't leave a couple of people.
well, I'm sure they did, because again, it's just a scouting party.
Well, no, they took they took everybody.
Yeah.
And put them into orbit around Mandalore, and then the scouting party went down from there.
Yeah, but
all the people of Mandalore are in orbit, waiting for them to secure an area, and then they're going to come down to land.
Well, no, it's not everybody. It's not everybody. There were only a few ships. I mean, obviously they had the main ship. You know, that's going to be your big one. Is the main?
I would say they had between 10 and 15 ships.
Did they?
They were there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was the cruiser was the big one, and then there were 4 or 5 smaller, medium-sized vehicles that kind of look like boxes, kind of. And then there were, I'd say, 6 or 7 of the ones that like Bo-Katan drives.
Yeah. Well,
they took everybody.
Once they landed because it was safe.
Right.
They start moving in and they say, the ancient city of Sundari is below us. We need to get to the Great Forge. Yep. So we need to start traveling. And as they're traveling, they come upon some pirates. That's what we'll call
moving
them.
In the distance.
We'll call them pirates because they're in the distance and they're on a ship. A boat,
yep.
So to speak. A boat for land. When it
land
turns
boat,
out that some of them are night owls. And obviously, they're Mandalorians. They're still on Mandalore.
And that was one of the crazy things to me, because they from the get-go, it was always there were no survivors.
Yeah.
On Mandalore. The only people that are still alive that are Mandalores were people who were not on Mandalore when the Great Purge happened.
Yeah.
And I loved the first question. Do you have food?
Yes.
We're freaking hungry.
Yes, we have food. Yes. Would you like to have some? We have popcorn.
And I mean, it's amazing to me also that for as long as it's been since all this has happened, and as long as these people have been on the planet, that they could still recognize the voice.
Yes.
Because they specifically said, is that the voice of Princess Bo-Katan Kryze that I hear?
Lady Bo-Katan.
Lady Bo-Katan,
Lady Bo-Katan.
Carol, have a good night, my friend.
Bye, Carol. So, from there, obviously, they welcome them on their ship. They're Mandalorians. They do whatever they need to do. They explain that the Empire destroyed everything. Every ship leaving Mandalore. They bombed Mandalore's surface with the TIE bombers. They did whatever they need to do, and they called it the Night of 1,000 Tears, because that's really what it was. The Night of 1,000 Tears was the end of Mandalore. Okay?
And I like what they said.
What?
I like what they said, because they said they punished us.
Yes.
For not surrendering.
They punished, which then brings up the conversation of Bo-Katan saying, no, I did surrender.
Mm-hmm.
We were outgunned. We were outnumbered. I wanted to save you all. So I surrendered. Gave Moff Gideon the dark saber.
And I can't fault her for that. She did what anybody would do.
She was looking out for her people. All of Mandalore.
She wants her people to survive.
Yes.
So I do not fault her in any way for that.
But Moff Gideon betrayed her. Started killing everybody anyway. Started bombing and doing whatever, and hence the Great Purge of Mandalore. So
Yeah. Imagine that the Empire stabbing somebody in the back.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Shocking.
so the leader of the Mandalorian survivors asked, "How did you all survive?" And the armorer says, "Well, we were on the moon of Concordia. We were hiding. We were out of harm's way." And um, they were, what was the word I'm looking for here? They were trying to renegotiate some type of ceasefire, if I remember correctly. Um, but
When?
because the tribe survived, they didn't know about the group Death Watch, or in this case, the Children of the Watch now, because
Mhm.
they didn't know about them. They were hiding. They were underground. They did whatever they needed to do in order to survive. And
The way she said it was, we were secreted away.
yes,
So nobody knew that they were gone.
yes,
They knew who they were because, the guy asked, "Are you Death Watch?" And the armor says Death Watch is no longer.
yes,
But so they knew who they were, but they didn't know where they were, which was a good thing because then they didn't get slaughtered.
yeah. But at the same time, Bo Katan even added that both factions have always been at odds with each other. They've always been divided. And
Yep.
that was our weakness. Because together, no one can beat the Mandalorians.
No
They
one could
would
beat the
be the ones
Mandalorians.
to
We beat ourselves due to,
Yep.
squabbling factions.
And I've mentioned this for a while now, not just with the comic books, not with the books, even the series. I've stated that the Mandalorians' issue has always been themselves, because they were always at odds with each other. One was right, one was wrong. One was right, one was wrong. It didn't matter. It kept
One was the old way, one was the new way, and they just didn't like that.
And instead of embracing both, that was the issue.
Mhm.
So because they were divided, they were always fighting each other.
Mhm.
In comes the Empire and goes, "Screw you, I'm taking over."
Just like any other enemy, you find your opponent's weakness and you exploit that.
Yep, and that
Mandalorian's weakness was the fractions or the fractures in what the Mandalorian was.
yes,
They took advantage of that and they decimated them.
yes. So, as they're searching for the Great Forge, the armorer says, "Listen, these survivors are too weak. A lot of the survivors stayed, but some of them are way too weak to go on. Let me bring them back to the ship, and we'll get them medical attention. We'll get them food. We'll do whatever we need to in order to get them better, because they're Mandalorians. We have to protect our own. This is the way." Makes sense. So she takes them all off and they go flying. Now, yes, JT, you raised your hand. Yes.
No, they were flying away.
They were flying away. Up and away.
As they watched them fly.
The former Moff Gideon's ship. I have theories, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So as they're going through, we see the two factions on the survivors' ship, and they're traveling to the Great Forge because they know exactly where it is. And we see Wolves and Paz Vizsla playing chess. And
the worst thing you can do when you have two groups of people that don't like each other, don't play a game of freaking chess.
Why not? It's a good game.
It's gonna cause a fight.
Of course, both factions know different rules, so yes, it does start causing a fight, and the two of them start going at it to the point where they're beating the living crap out of each other across the entire deck of the ship. Which
it was not a fake fight.
No, it was not. They were.
This was old way versus new way, all out. Great
Yeah.
action scene in this fight, no doubt.
I do like what happens because
Mm-hmm.
Din Djarin says to Bo-Katan, should I stop this? Like,
Well, and Bo-Katan's reaction is nobody on either side can step in.
yeah, because according to Mandalorian history and a Mandalorian
Lore.
laws, it's a fight to the death. So it doesn't matter. However, as they're beating the shit out of each other,
Mm-hmm.
lo and behold, Grogu gets right in the middle of it and says, no, no, no. Just keeps repeating no. And he's pushing the two of them back with IG-11's body. Well,
Right.
IG-12.
IG-12.
IG-12. Corrected myself. And Bo-Katan says to Din Djarin, you've taught your covert well. And Din Djarin says, I didn't teach him that.
I didn't teach it. I love the look that came on Bo-Katan's face when he said that. And
Yeah.
she's like, really?
I didn't teach him that.
That's interesting.
So the question becomes, which Jedi taught him that?
Yeah.
He
Who
is
knows?
a Jedi
Who taught
after all. He's a Padawan. You know?
Yeah, we've never really known who initially did his
No,
training that he has at.
we don't. But I have a feeling we're going to find that out as we go along. So now,
It would seem that way, yeah.
Now, the armorer lets the fleet command know that she's on her way with survivors from Mandalore to, get, their medical bay ready because we've got people coming on. And at the same time, they find the forge. And as they're walking toward the forge, I do have to mention, the ship is destroyed. So I do apologize for skipping this. From a big frickin' monster that
What was that thing?
No idea. I have no idea.
I mean, it made me think of Bowser.
Yeah.
Because as it's coming up, it's got all these big green spiky things.
Oh, which was part of the
sticking
planet.
to the back of it. But then there's this, I don't know if it was a tail or a tentacle or what.
No, it was its tail.
But you see this thing coming up through the air and flying through there, and all you hear is abandoned ship.
Run for your lives.
and all you see is
Run for your lives.
all these people jetpacking it the hell out of there.
Yeah. So the ship's destroyed. They get into a cave, and that cave leads right to the Great Forge, where shit hits the fan. Now, at first, we're probably thinking, oh, yeah, the Almamites are going to be there, and they're going to attack the Mandalorians, which not the case. Not the case. As they're going through, all of a sudden, they're ambushed by armored Imperial commandos. The same suits that we saw Moff Gideon walking by to get to his Shadow Council meeting, which confirmed that he was hiding on Mandalore the entire time.
Right. Well, and I liked the very, very small snippet of conversation that they had as they came into view of the Great Forge.
Yep.
Because Din Djarin initially started out the conversation. He's like, "Where are we?"
Yeah.
And then the one guy that was the leader before Bo-Katan kicked his ass,
Wolves.
said that this is the Great Forge.
Yes.
Or this is what remains of the Great Forge.
Yes.
And then, one of the comments was, "You lived here?" And, he's like, "This was the center of our society, basically.
It was the heart of the society, really. Because
the
Great
heart
Forge,
of the society. It was a very, very short conversation, but it said so much.
Yeah. And
it really did.
The Great Forge is what they used to form their Beskar armor.
Everything.
Their weapons.
Their weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was their thing. And the Imperials are now pinning them down. They're outnumbered. Not only are they outnumbered, but they can't communicate with the ship because of the storm above them that they had to fly through in order to get down. So communications is knocked out. Well, Woves says, I'm going to go get help, and flies away to go get help.
And who gave him cover fire?
Yes, they did give him cover fire. And
machine gun dude, what was his name? I can never remember his name.
Paz Vizsla.
Yep. Two different factions, once again, working together. In the heat of combat, they work together well.
Right.
Because Paz Vizsla's like, I'll cover you, and he starts wasting guys, and Wolf takes off.
Yeah. So they get to a point where not only are they pinned down, but they're kind of trapped. And Din Djarin tells Grogu, you have to keep up. And he's using IG-12 to run, which is great.
Yeah.
So he's keeping up, and they get to a point where a blast door shuts and divides some of the Mandalorians off. Paz Vizsla being one, Din Djarin being another. And there was one other one. I think, was there 3 or 4?
I thought there was only 2.
Was there? So it was just...
It may have been 3. At the most, it was 3.
Yeah, I think there were 3 total that got cut off.
Right.
Woves is gone. He's off trying to get help. Everybody else is behind the blast door, and the Imperials just come down. They're outnumbered, and we see some interesting things. Oh, there was 4. There was 4.
Was it 4?
Yes.
Okay.
2 of them got killed. Paz Vizsla and Din Djarin were the only other 2.
Okay. And it was interesting to me because I was picking things up as the chase was going on.
Yeah.
I was picking up little things that, as a non-combatant, I'm saying, wait a minute, that does not look right for a planet that has been deserted.
Right.
For so long. You've got manicured hallways.
Yes.
That you're running down with lights and everything, smooth, pretty floors, the whole 9 yards. And then all of a sudden the lighting was the key. Because as they start the chase, the lighting in these tunnels that they're going down is white.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, as they come out into this vast opening, just before that, the lights change from white to red.
Yeah. Red alert!
And, what do we see in every starship and freaking Death Star and everything? Red lighting. It's everywhere.
Oh, yeah. That's how you tell.
But being in the heat of combat, I could totally understand them not catching that until it was too late, which was exactly Darth Maul's plan.
Right.
To get them in there.
Yeah. Now, Western Echo says, I'll repeat, Mandalorians, for as strategy savvy as they're supposed to be, should have seen the ambush coming. So I agree with that, but I disagree with it. And the only reason why I disagree with it is because they thought the planet was cursed. It was poisoned. There were no survivors.
Right.
So
when you're in combat, when you're in the middle of shit hitting the fan,
yeah,
you don't notice a lot of your surroundings
until you go, wait a minute, what the hell is all of this? Which is exactly what they did.
And it is human nature. It is human nature. I don't care who you are. In any movie that has any kind of battle scene in it, where the enemy retreats.
Yeah. What
is the human instinct? Follow them and destroy them. That is natural human instinct.
Yep.
And all the great military planners of the day know that and use that to their advantage.
Oh, absolutely. Well, now we get to the point where Moff Gideon shows himself.
Moff Gideon, sorry.
Jetpack and all, cape and all, Beskar armor and all. And
Mandalorian style helmet. That was the one thing that pissed me off was they styled all this stuff to the Mandalorians.
So I have a theory on that, but we'll get to it in a minute. But because there's a lot of things on the internet right now of theories and all that, but I think my theory may be pretty sound. But we'll go from there. So he comes down. He says he's got TIE bombers. He's got he's got the TIE interceptors. But what he really wants to do is create this grand army to bring balance to the galaxy once again, balance and order. And he wants to use the Jedi, the Mandalorians, and the clones to create that army.
The best of each.
The best of each. The Kaminoans did it for the clones.
It's kind of a Star Wars version of Jurassic Park.
Yeah, kinda.
You know, because they in the meeting earlier in the episode they were talking about the doctor's research.
Yeah, which again they mentioned earlier on. So the main thing with that is they were doing experiments on Jedi or former Jedi or Jedi that they were able to capture. And we've seen that. We've seen it in Obi-Wan. We've seen it in season 2 of Mandalorian. We've seen it. Okay. We know it's there. And this is where some of the my theories are going to come from, but I also kind of have a picture painted that I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's a good theory. But he basically says, I'm going to go and destroy that fleet. Your fleet is mine. I will destroy.
Let's go take care of the rest of them while we still have the element of surprise.
Yep. So he says, give me the dark saber and you guys can live. And she goes, this is the way. And she starts carving a hole out of the wall through the blast doors to get out and get the rest of them out and all that good stuff. So as that's happening, Paz Vizsla is fighting everybody off. And
this is one of the best battle scenes of the entire series.
You know, I saw it coming too, and I'm like, no, don't do it. No. Oh, that's badass.
It sucks, but it's freaking awesome.
Yeah. Din Djarin gets captured, and he says, bring him to my interrogation room. Never do that. The minute he says that, Christy says, why don't they just kill him? Just get it over with. I'm like, I have a theory, and I'll tell everybody my theory. Hold on. So, obviously, there's a lot of firepower going on. Paz Vizsla is fighting off as many of these troopers as possible to the point where his gun is overheating to the point where he cannot hold it anymore, and it's still firing to the point where he can't even fire it anymore.
And here's the thing, and you kind of skipped over it, and to me, it's extremely important to this part. Is as she cuts the hole, kicks it out, and says, "Let's go."
Yep.
So he provides covering fire. He loves to do covering fire. The man loves to fire that freaking weapon.
But I just said that.
But he's providing cover for everybody to get out. And as Bo-Katan says, "Come on," he's like, "No, there's too many," and he drops a blast door.
Yep.
Cutting her off.
Yep.
So he wanted to make sure that everybody escaped, and he wanted to give them time to escape.
Yep.
He says, "Go, I'll hold them off. There's too many."
Yes. And how many did he take out?
Oh, dude, he had to take out at least 50 guys. At least 50. And that was before, that was while he had the weapon. Once the weapon quit firing, we don't know if it's because he ran out of I think it's because he ran out of ammo.
No, the gun overloaded.
Because he ran out of ammo. Or maybe because I saw him look back, maybe they cut the feed belt.
Yeah. From
the backpack. But after he did that, he still took out at least 10 more by hand.
Yeah.
I mean, dude was bad ass in all caps.
Western Echo says, Annie's leaving his son to be an orphan. What a parent. Now, his son took the oath just like he did. So, just painting that picture for you.
Some people are willing to make the sacrifices that need to be made.
And he did. He needed it. He
did.
He
Yep.
did the sacrifice that needed to be done because, you know, as different as him and Bo-Katan are, he knew it. They're home. This was something that happened. And from there, it took 3 more guards, Praetorian guards, to take him out. 3 of them.
Who were sent because Darth Maul's in my freaking head now. Moff Gideon. That was the personal guard that he requested at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. Western Echo says, sorry, son, got to go out in a blaze of glory. You are on your own. But is he?
He's not.
He's not.
He's got one hell of a family to back him up.
Especially with the survival of Din Djarin, which, by the way, that's the end of the episode.
It's a messed up way to end this episode, knowing it is the last one before the series ends.
Yeah.
With him just going. They pan out a little bit. They show the 3 guards walking away, and it's just him laying there.
Yeah. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to rate the episode very quickly because I want to give my theories out, and it's going to make sense when I do. Okay? And believe me, I have a lot of theories. Trust me.
4.9, it was, 4.9 helmets. It was balls to the walls from the get-go. I love the way that Bo-Katan Kryze has taken control.
Yep.
But she's not being
a dick.
Overly bossy. She's not being a dick about it. She's working, as the armor has said, to try and unite the 2 tribes.
Yep.
And everything. The battle scenes were friggin' awesome. The ending was the most fucked up ending you could have.
Yes.
Short of Din Djarin getting killed like that.
Yeah.
So 4.9.
I am going to be a little above you with a 5. My rating is 5 Mandalorian helmets.
It's hard for me to give a full 5. You know that.
Oh, I know. But mine's a 5. And Western Echo says after the Dumb and Dumber episode last week, I'll give this one a 5.1. And Lady Death says they lose 2 points for killing one of my favorite guys, so they get a 4.9. Wouldn't it be 4.8?
Not if you work on a 5.1 scale like Echo does. Higher math.
Okay. So I'm going with a 5. It's my first 5 for this season. And now I'm just going to get into some theories real quick because people are trying to figure out who the spy is. Yeah. Now, mind you, the title of the chapter was The Spies.
More than one.
We know who one is. We know Kane is one. Who's the second spy? Take a gander? Take a guess? Well, we've got all the players on the field. We got Paz Vizsla. Clearly, he's gone. I don't think he was the spy. The armorer, well, yep, possibly.
No.
Bo-Katan, Din Djarin.
No.
We've got Reeves. We got Woves. We've got Grogu, who only really says 2 words. We've got Karga. Who was the spy? Who was the spy?
Oh, no.
Because
I think it's somebody who's been involved. What about the girl?
Which one?
Bo-Katan's right hand man, the girl that in when they stole his ship, when they stole the supply ship, she was with him.
Oh,
the one that she just when she was getting ready to tell them that she had surrendered. Remember, she went to sit at the table. She went to say something.
Yeah.
And Bo-Katan just went, and she shut up.
Koska Reeves.
I don't know what her name is.
I just told you what her name is.
Maybe it's her. She's the only other one that I can think of.
So I did mention her, But
I think it's a semi-secondary character.
I don't think
I don't
it
think
was
it's
her.
anybody who's been main.
I don't think it was her. And the reason I don't think it was her is because she was never in charge.
You don't have to be in charge to be a spy.
But
She's high enough that she's still going to learn about any plans that are going on.
okay. So hear me out on this.
She's been leadership. She's been right there the entire time.
Yes. But hear me out on this. Lady Death says Bo-Katan because I want her to be, but it isn't going to be. Yeah, it's not going to be Bo-Katan. You got to remember, Bo-Katan is royalty of Mandalore. She wants Mandalore back.
You can tell that she's truly carrying the weight of losing her people and her planet.
Yes.
Echo says that I think the armor is shady, and I've been thinking that for a while.
So here's why I don't think it's the armorer. Yes, she offered to bring the survivors of Mandalore back to the ship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she would do that if she was a spy. And the only reason being is if she was a spy, she would have to have told Gideon some way, shape, or form that they were going to be there.
Right.
Now, with that being said...
Well, and the biggest thing with this whole plan is that to get as many Mandalore as possible into this ambush.
Right.
So why would she remove people from it?
Exactly.
So I agree with you on that.
Now, Koska Reeves was down there the entire time with Bo-Katan, Din Djarin, and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
My money. And you're all going to be like, what? Axe Woves. My money, Axe Woves. And here's why.
Which one was that?
So he's the one that Bo-Katan kicked the shit out of to get control over the Mandalorian crew.
Okay.
Strike number one.
Yeah, I can see that possibility.
Strike number two. He left to go get help. Strike number three. In the previous episode, he was in charge of that ship.
Mm-hmm.
That ship is Moff Gideon's ship / former shift. Who has direct communication to that ship?
Yeah.
Who is a gun for hire? It all points to Axe Woves. Now, that's number one.
I can see where you're coming from that.
That's my spy theory. He's my spy. Okay. Number two.
The biggest thing with that was him running away.
Exactly. I'm going to get help. Are you? Are you going to get help? Are you? Now, on to Moff Gideon. Why he's hiding out on Mandalore. He never left. He never left Mandalore. Here's why.
Was he in charge on the Night of a Thousand Tears?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
He was also the reason the Great Purge of Mandalore happened.
The Night of a Thousand Tears.
He wanted Mandalore for himself.
And he did say in the meeting at the beginning that Mandalore will finally, or that it was at the end before he flew away. He did say that the Great Purge of Mandalore will finally be complete.
Yes. Now, here's the other thing that I have a theory on.
Okay.
Moff Gideon is Mandalorian. The look of confusion is so funny. Here's why I think he's Mandalorian.
Not confusion. Not confusion.
But here's why I think he is a Mandalorian. Who forged the armor?
Right.
Someone had to have known how to forge Beskar armor.
Yeah, and Beskar armor, even though it's forged in a different way then most things are forged.
Exactly.
So,
Now, I just want to read Western Echo's comments. I think Moff Gideon is playing a longer game than just ambushing them. I think this season is Mandalorian's Empire Strikes Back, and we haven't seen the extent of Moff's blowback yet. He also goes on to say that if Axe turns out to be the spy, I will be disappointed. Simon Kessin, wow, I can't even pronounce the last name right. Always plays such a stereotypical scumbags that it would be too telegraphed. Yes, it would, but it would be the perfect way to do it. And as Lady Death says, then he lost the way. He did. Now, the only
Echo
reason...
says, now Moff being a Mandalore is something that has, in fact, come up before.
Yeah. And again, it's just a theory. So, Western Echo says, I still think it's the armor. In fact, she may have forged his armor. I don't think she did.
When would she have had time?
Yeah, when would she have had
Because
time?
he didn't have that armor. He didn't have that armor before.
Yeah.
The armor that he's wearing now is new.
It's all new.
Yeah,
Because
you look
gotta
at the
remember...
armor that he had when he crashed his ship,
Yep.
and came up at the end of the episode with the dark saber. You look at his armor then, you look at his armor now, two totally different sets.
Oh, yeah.
Of armor.
Now, the other thing is this. Why did he kidnap Din Djarin?
You know what? That's been sitting in my head. You know, Din Djarin is one of his main enemies. This is not the first time that he's faced Din Djarin.
Right. So
he's lost every time.
Here's my next theory. And I don't know how true this is, but I had been thinking about it since Wednesday. He doesn't need Grogu. Moff Gideon doesn't need Grogu.
No.
And the reason being is there are Jedis or Force-sensitive people still out there.
Mm-hmm.
Luke
Which he probably has several
of
them. Of them captured and, enslaved.
Right. Luke being one of them. Ahsoka being another. Mm-hmm. So.
And probably many others that we don't know about.
But here's the thing. Who defeated Moff Gideon? Not just the Mandalorians. They had help.
Yeah.
They had help from Luke Skywalker.
Mandalorians and Jedis used to fight side by side.
Right.
I remember that comment. I don't remember if it was in season 2 or if it was in this season. It was in this season. Because that was when Bo-Katan and Grogu were going to save Din Djarin when he got caught by that spider creature freaking thing. They were having that conversation, and she mentioned to Grogu that the Jedi and the Mandalore used to fight have fought side by side.
Now, with that being said, who knows the location of Luke Skywalker? Din Djarin. Moff Gideon needs a Jedi. Grogu.
A full Jedi.
Grogu is a Padawan, but he did not go with the Jedi ways. He went with the Mandalorian way because of Din Djarin.
Right.
Luke, on the other hand, is trying to build a society so he can bring about the next order of the Jedi.
Well, and my thinking on that, because you brought this up, and this is one of the first things my brain thought, and that's why I made the comment, it needs to be a full Jedi. It needs to be somebody who, if not fully trained, is very close to being fully trained.
Exactly.
Because otherwise, they could have sat there and instead of killing off all the Padawans in the Jedi Temple, they could have kidnapped them.
Exactly.
So he needs somebody who, like I said, if not fully trained, is well trained, aka in the style of Anakin, and those kind of things.
Yeah. So
it's interesting.
So, how do you get the revenge on someone that kicked your ass? Beskar armor.
Somebody who kicked their ass.
Beskar armor and a lightsaber do not go hand in hand.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We know it's true.
But they can.
Who's he going for? Luke Skywalker. Guarantee it. Will it be revealed? Probably not. But that's my theory. Boom.
It'll be part of the cliffhanger for the end of season 3.
Yep. So Wolves is the spy. Hands down, Wolves is the spy. And they kidnap Din Djarin so they can get information on where Luke Skywalker is. Because who can defeat everybody?
Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah. I agree with most of your theories.
They're pretty good.
They're good theories, no doubt. The one I have a problem with, and I can see why you're saying it, because a lot of the things that he's done has laid that out there for him to be the spy.
Yeah.
My one thing is, and I know we need to hurry, my one thing is I think it's a little bit too obvious with him that he's the spy. And like I said, I don't know who it would be. I couldn't give you a name if I wanted to. But I think it is somebody who is a sub-secondary character. It's somebody that we've seen multiple times. But I couldn't tell you who it is. I could see where you're at with Wolves, but at the same time, I think it's too obvious that it would be him.
Okay.
Make sense? Make sense?
True. But
so,
in this case, I really think it's Wolves just because of them getting the drop on the Mandalorians.
And there's one other thing that sticks in my craw on your theory.
So hold on. Western Echo says like Sasha Banks' character. So you got to remember, Reeves was loyal to Bo-Katan, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she left with Wolves because she was making money as a
like
gun
he's
for
talking
hire.
about, yeah.
But Reeves was the first one to go with Bo-Katan. She was the first one to go, no, I'm with her.
Yeah.
So she's loyal.
Here's my issue.
Yep.
Okay. We're going to flash back to episode 2 of this season. I think it was.
Yep.
Where the Republic or the New Order guy came to Din Djarin. He followed them to Din Djarin, and the comment came up. I know where you were because there's a spy in your midst.
Yeah.
My next question is that robot still with them?
Never trust a droid.
But that robot is a part of their sect, or their guild, or whatever you want to call it. So, and that's why I say I think it's a sub-secondary character, like you said, Sasha Banks' character, somebody who we know of.
Yeah.
But they're not quite at that level where it's somebody that we think of all the time.
Yeah. So the one thing,
that's where I'm coming from.
The one thing with that,
just a thought, I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, your theory is sitting at about a 7.
Yeah. I mean,
my theory is sitting at about a 3.
Yeah.
But it's a thought,
But that's why I'm saying it's Wolves is because he wasn't even at that battle. When he left, he basically told Gideon, "Hey, this is where they're going."
Right.
And that's because he's a gun for hire. He doesn't want
because they had him pinned down.
But he doesn't want Bo-Katan to be in charge of the Mandalorians. He wants to be in charge of the Mandalorians. It's the perfect opportunity. Perfect opportunity. It's also the perfect opportunity for Moff Gideon to actually defeat them and then backstab him and kill Wolves. So I know it's
next week's episode is gonna be interesting as hell.
It's gonna be
it's gonna be, like I said, like I told you off air. with this episode, we are going to have to revamp our grading scale.
Yeah, most likely.
Because we're going from here
to there
to here with this last episode. I mean, we're going from jumping off a small cliff to jumping off Niagara freaking Falls.
Very true. Very true.
So it's gonna be an extremely interesting episode. It's gonna be even more interesting to see if any of your theories pan out.
I think my theories are sound. And I know there's more people out there that have the same theories as me. I know there is.
I mean, there's some theories, no doubt.
So we'll find out on Wednesday. That's for sure. Mandalorian, Star Wars, Lucasfilm, and Disney Plus do not sponsor this show, but it'd be really, really cool if they did.
Mm-hmm.
Also be really cool if I could get somebody on the air with us and talk about this stuff, but that's besides the point. Maybe we'll get there one day. But
see, that's the thing, Nikaya. That's where I'm at. And even Echo said it. Some of them are almost too obvious, though.
Yeah.
But I can see where they're all coming from.
I do agree that it's the obvious, but we don't know who that second spy
makes
is.
The most sense.
He does make the most sense.
Yeah, it does.
Western Echo says, in a shocking turn of events, Din Djarin has a dissociative personality disorder and is actually the spy. You never know. I don't think it's him, though. I really don't. I don't think it's him. So
I can't see him going through the things that he's gone through.
Yeah.
To be the spy. I can't see it.
I personally think it's Woves.
So time will tell.
Calling it.
He's called his shot. He's pointing over the right field wall.
I'm pointing, and I'm hitting the grand slam. I guarantee it. It's going to be out of the park. All right. Well, that, my friends, is this week's episode of Two Ewoks in the Park. Mandalorian chapter 23, right? It was chapter 23?
Yes, sir.
Wow, 23. Chapter 23. Holy crap.
Because eighth episode would be chapter 24.
Yep.
3 seasons at 8 episodes per.
Yep. That's the one thing I don't wish happened because,
I know.
Suck.
I don't want it to end, man. And folks, y'all well know about Kay, and Kay. It takes a lot to get Kay involved in anything.
Yeah.
Her exact words were, "I'm invested now." What does that tell you?
That's tells quite a lot. Western Echo says, or see if you follow me, it's Grogu. And maybe the droid that he's in, but I doubt it.
And he speaks perfect English.
No. So anyway, we will we'll see you guys next Monday to talk about the season finale of Mandalorian, chapter 24. That's right, chapter 24.
And prepare for this to be a long episode because we're gonna have too much to talk about.
I'm hoping it's gonna be longer than 30 minutes.
No, I mean our show next week.
What, we already went 20 minutes over.
It's probably going to be more next week.
Probably, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, with that being said, I hope you guys like my theories. Hope you guys like the show tonight. We will see you next week, Monday at 8 p.m. And we're gonna rock and roll this thing. That's for sure. So, for JT and myself, you've been listening and watching to Two Ewoks in the Park, right here on Accidental Punch TV. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night for the Sully Show at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will see you guys next time. Have a great night, everybody. Goodbye.
We got some great stuff for you tomorrow night, too.
We certainly do. Later.